You know that feeling, right? When you're deep into self-help, maybe the law of attraction,
Yeah.
and you just keep thinking there's one more thing you need.
Yeah, like a missing piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. That secret ingredient that's going to, finally make it all click.
Hmm.
If you're nodding along, well, that's kind of where we're jumping off today.
Mm.
We're doing a deep dive into this book by E.K. Santo, How I Made Over 1 Million Using the Law of Attraction.
Which is quite a bold claim right there in the title.
It really is.
And it sort of sets up our mission here, doesn't it? Can these principles actually lead to something so, well, tangible, like
Right.
over $1 million?
Right. So our goal today is to basically cut through any potential hype
Yeah.
and really try to pull out the core ideas that Santo himself says worked for him based on his own story, especially for like financial success.
And the source here isn't some, peer-reviewed study.
No, not at all.
That's his personal account, right? In a self-published book making this big promise.
So think of us as maybe guides. We're sorting through his story, trying to find those actionable bits.
And maybe some surprising things that jumped out at us as we read it.
Definitely.
And it's interesting because Santo himself, he really stresses this isn't about some revolutionary new secret he uncovered.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his whole journey kind of starts with frustration, actually. Something I bet a lot of people listening might recognize.
Okay, so what was the frustration?
Well, he's reading all these law of attraction books,
Yeah.
right? And he gets this feeling they're all saying pretty much the same thing.
Ah, the aha moment, like, wait a minute.
Exactly. He realized, hang on, I don't necessarily need another book or another seminar.
He felt the answers were already there.
Pretty much. In those foundational books, he actually lists quite a few. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
A classic.
Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. Charles Hannell, The Master Key System.
Okay.
Rhonda Byrne's The Secret, obviously. Jerry and Esther Hicks, The Abraham Stuff.
Wow.
And he even mentions names like Tony Robbins, T. Harv Eker, Jack Canfield, Joe Vitale, Wayne Dyer. I mean, it's a who's who.
That is quite the lineup.
Yeah.
So his point was, if you've read a couple of these, you're good.
Essentially, yeah.
Hmm.
His thinking was, you probably already have the core knowledge if you've touched on even a few of these.
So the problem isn't lack of information.
No. He believed the real issue, and he included himself in this for a while, is actually doing it, consistently applying the techniques.
That's his main argument then. Stop searching, start doing.
That's the heart of it. Stop hunting for some new secret that, in his view, doesn't really exist.
And trust that what worked for others, decades ago.
Still works now, just apply it diligently.
Okay, so to back this up, he shares his own story.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like he just read a book and boom, millionaire, right?
Definitely not. He gives this picture of his early life that sounds, well, pretty relatable for a lot of folks.
Like what?
High school, bouncing between jobs, living at home, working in a warehouse at one point. But underneath, there was this real strong desire for wealth. He just didn't have a clue how to get there. No strategy.
Then something sparked it.
Yeah, he saw a real estate infomercial. Carlton Sheets, I think he mentions.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
Right. And that lit a fire. But interestingly, even though he dove into real estate books and seminars, it didn't really pan out for him. Not the big success he wanted.
But something good came out of that period.
Two really important things, actually, even though real estate wasn't the path. First, he found Tony Robbins' personal power program.
Ah, the self-help gateway for many.
Totally. And second, he just happened to meet this successful stockbroker.
A chance encounter.
Yeah. And the broker suggested, hey, maybe you should look into the stock market as a career.
Wow, okay. Talk about a pivot. He didn't know anything about stocks.
Nope. But he was fired up by that Tony Robbins take action message.
So he just went for it.
He did. And this part's really interesting because, he becomes a stockbroker, but it wasn't instant riches. Far from it.
What was it like?
He talks about long hours, tons of rejection, and this growing feeling of dissatisfaction.
Why?
He felt like he wasn't actually helping his clients make money, which was kind of the point, right?
Yeah, you hope so.
But he saw others in the office doing really well financially, so that kept the dream alive,
And he was still listening to Tony Robbins during this.
Listening, yes. He mentions having the tapes on repeat. But he also admits he wasn't really implementing everything.
Ah, back to that core message.
Yeah.
Application.
Exactly. It seems like motivation wasn't quite enough without that consistent action piece.
Did anything shift for him then?
Well, he credits one technique from Robbins that started to make a difference. A simple one, really. asking better questions.
How so?
Instead of just focusing on hating the job, he started asking, how can I get wealthy doing this and actually enjoy it?
Okay, changing the focus, shifting the vibration, maybe?
You could say that. That little shift seemed to open things up, and then this new broker joined the office.
A successful one?
No, a different successful one. This guy had a totally different approach, really research-based, using Investors Business Daily.
IBD, yeah. Known for its charts and data.
Right. And seeing that was another aha moment for Santo. Like, oh, there's another way. You can be a skilled stock picker.
So that set him on a new learning path.
It really did, learning about stock analysis. And it was right around then that he says he accidentally found Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
Which Tony Robbins had recommended. Full circle.
Kind of, yeah. And he was immediately hooked by this idea of using your mind to create wealth.
So he decided to pursue both things, the stock knowledge and the mental principles.
Yes, consciously. Diving into the stock market stuff, but also exploring these mental laws. Even though the big money wasn't rolling in yet, he felt like he was onto something.
That intuition, that feeling.
Right. And what's interesting is how he started mixing the two, applying what he was learning from Hill and Robbins, even in small ways.
Like the better question.
And Affirmations. That was from Think and Grow Rich. And then he started seeing these little unexpected wins.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
He mentions finding like $3,000 in some old IRA he'd forgotten about.
Wow.
And having some early success with the few stock trades he picked. Nothing life-changing, but...
Enough to make him think, hey, this stuff might actually work.
Exactly. That was crucial evidence for him. Little manifestations building belief for the bigger ones.
But the path isn't usually smooth, right?
Yeah.
There must have been bumps.
Oh, definitely. He ran into problems trading within the rules of the brokerage firms.
Yeah, compliance and stuff.
Right. So he makes this huge leap, decides to go trade full-time on his own, even sold his condo for capital.
Whoa, that's a big risk.
Huge. And then, even after that, more hurdles. He realized he didn't actually have enough capital to really make significant gains trading.
Ugh, that feeling of being stuck again.
Yeah. It's relatable, right? You feel like you're close, but things keep popping up.
So what did he do? Back to the drawing board.
Sort of. He stepped back and, again, asked a better question. Something like, how can I be a really successful trader and enjoy the process?
And the answer came from?
His intuition seemed to pull him back to those foundational books again. Wallace Wattles' The Science of Getting Rich.
Okay.
And especially Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. But this time, he made a real commitment.
To actually do it.
Yes. To really immerse himself in Think and Grow Rich, follow the steps diligently.
It really hammers home his point, doesn't it? The info was there all along.
It really does. The missing piece wasn't more information. It was consistent, dedicated application.
And did things change then?
Well, shortly after that renewed commitment, he found another key influence. Shakti Gawain's book, Creative Visualization.
Ah, okay. How did that fit in?
He said it just clicked for him. It explained visualization techniques way more clearly, for him at least, than Hill's older language. It really accelerated things.
So different books can light up the same idea in different ways for people.
Absolutely. And creative visualization, really vividly imagining your desires as already real, became a super powerful tool for him.
Got it. So things are looking up. He's applying principles, visualizing. Then what?
Then comes what he calls a trick from the universe.
Uh-oh.
His wife got pregnant.
Okay. Good news, but maybe stressful timing.
Exactly. Suddenly there's this pressure, this feeling like, oh man, I need a real job now. It seemed like his trading dream was on hold.
That's a real test of faith, isn't it? When life throws you a curveball that seems to contradict your goal.
Huge test. But instead of giving up, he kept up his visualization, kept holding the vision, and then, completely unexpectedly, he sees these help-wanted ads, specifically looking for stock traders to work for a firm.
He didn't even know that was a thing.
Apparently not. He lands a trial spot at a trading firm.
So not exactly his original vision of trading from home.
No, but it was a massive step forward, an opportunity he wasn't even looking for in that specific way.
It shows how the path might not be straight, right?
Yeah, definitely. The universe, or whatever, might have a different route planned. Maybe even a better one.
And things took off from there.
Pretty much. He did really well at the firm, eventually hit that consistent six-figure income.
And finally got to trade from home?
Yep. Achieved the original dream. And looking back, he realized those negative events, like the pregnancy prompting the job search, were actually necessary steps.
Hindsight is 20/20, isn't it?
It really is. What feels like a setback can actually be guiding you. His story is a great example of that.
Okay, so based on all this,
Mm.
this roller coaster journey,
Mm-hmm.
he boils the law of attraction down to some core principles.
He does. For him, these are the fundamentals you really need to get.
What's the first one?
Thoughts become things. Pretty standard low A concept. He uses the magnet analogy, focused thoughts attract like thoughts, and circumstances follow.
So what you focus on expands, basically.
Kind of, but it's more than just fleeting thoughts. It's the dominant thoughts, the ones you keep returning to.
And he stresses the need for specificity here too, right? Not just, I want money.
Exactly. Focus on the feeling, the details of having that wealth, almost like you're programming your reality ahead of time.
Okay, principle one, thoughts become things. What's next?
Second is vibration and being. This ties into the feeling aspect.
I would.
Your emotional state creates your vibration, and you attract experiences that match that frequency. So the key is to be the state you desire.
Be wealthy to attract wealth. Be happy to attract happiness.
That's the idea. It's about embodying it now, not waiting for the external thing to make you feel that way.
So it's deeper than just thinking positive thoughts.
Much deeper. It's about actively cultivating and living in the emotional state of your desire. Think of vibration as your consistent emotional home base.
Right. Feeling gratitude, excitement about your goals, even before they fully manifest.
That sends a much clearer signal, according to Santo, than just occasional positive thinking mixed with doubt.
Got it. Thoughts, vibration, being. What's the third principle?
Desire, but specifically burning desire.
Okay, what's the difference between that and just wanting something?
It's the intensity, that powerful emotionally charged drive. He says positive emotion fuels manifestation.
Makes sense.
But he also points out the flip side, the ugly side, he calls it.
Which is?
Attracting what you don't want through fear and focusing on lack.
Oh, right. Focusing on debt attracts more debt, that kind of thing.
Exactly. So clarity is vital here too. Be crystal clear on what you do want. Define it. Feel it.
Okay, so we need desire, that burning kind. What's next? This feels like building blocks.
It really is. And this next one, Santo says, is the most important ingredient.
Okay, laying it down, what is it?
Belief, or, faith and trust.
Belief. Why is that the most crucial?
Because you can have the desire, you can try to manage your thoughts and vibration, but if deep down you don't truly believe it's possible for you,
It won't happen, or it'll be much harder.
right. He talks about how our beliefs mostly come from past programming, old experiences.
Things we learned growing up, maybe.
Exactly. But the empowering part is, he says, you can change those beliefs. They aren't fixed.
How? How do you change a deep-seated belief?
Well, he shares a really cool personal story here, his blue feather experiment.
Blue feather. Tell me more.
He basically decided to test the principles. He focused his intention purely on manifesting, seeing a blue feather within, I think, 24 or 48 hours, something specific but kind of random and unlikely.
Okay.
And he didn't go looking for it. He just set the intention, believed it would happen, and let it go. Then, within the time frame he was driving, glanced down, and there, on the floor of his car, was a small, bright blue feather.
Whoa. Seriously. No idea how it got there.
None whatsoever. And for him, that seemingly small, improbable thing happening without him doing anything physical to make it happen, that was huge.
That would definitely shake up your belief system.
Right. It was undeniable proof for him. And that's why he suggests listeners do their own small experiments.
Like find a specific parking spot or manifest a free coffee. Things that feel believable.
Exactly. Little things that stretch your belief but aren't totally out there. And he recommends keeping an evidence journal.
To write down these successes.
Yeah. Document the moments, big or small, that seem to show these principles working. It trains your brain to look for more evidence.
Okay, I like that. Practical advice. Start small, gather proof, build belief.
It's a very actionable step. So, belief is key. Is there another principle?
He briefly touches on one more. Allowing and receiving.
Letting it in.
Yeah. And it says the key to this is gratitude.
Makes sense.
This comes after you've got the clear desire and the solid belief. It's about getting out of your own way, basically.
How so? What gets in the way?
Things like impatience, focusing on the lack of the thing instead of its coming, trying to control how it happens.
Right, trying to micromanage the universe.
Exactly. It's about letting go of resistance, trusting the process, and being open to receiving in ways you might not expect.
And gratitude keeps you in that receptive state, that positive vibration we talked about earlier.
It signals you're ready and open to receive.
Got it. So those are the core principles, according to Santo.
Yeah. Thoughts, vibration being desire, belief, and allowing receiving.
Okay, so wrapping this up then. If we distill Santo's journey and his message down, what are the main things people should take away from this deep dive?
I think a few things really stand out. First, like we keep saying, it's the power of consistent application.
Mm-hmm. Not just knowing, but doing.
Right. Forget endlessly searching for secrets. Use the fundamentals you probably already know. Second, the absolute need to align your thoughts and your feelings with what you want.
That vibrational match.
Yeah. Third, belief. That unwavering faith which you can actually build deliberately.
Through those small experiments and tracking evidence.
Exactly. And finally, maybe being okay with a path looking different than you planned.
Trusting that detours might actually be part of the plan. Being open to unexpected opportunities.
His core message really comes through, doesn't it? You likely have the knowledge.
The transformation is in the practice.
Consistent, dedicated practice fueled by real belief.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening, something to chew on. Reflecting on all this, which one of these foundational principles, thoughts, feelings, desire, belief, allowing, might you be kind of overlooking right now?
Ooh, good question. Or maybe applying inconsistently.
Yeah, and maybe even more tangibly, what one small, believable experiment could you try this week just to consciously strengthen your own belief in its power?
I love that. Making it personal, making it practical.
Because that's where the real shifts often start, right? In that deliberate exploration and consistent application.
Absolutely. Well, here's to everyone's ongoing journey of creation.